Yeah, sure. Um, Obstacles will always come down, of course. One of my biggest obstacles was when, probably around 2011, when our main deal finding strategy was, bank owned foreclosures that were listed on the MLS. When there was a pretty sharp drop off in Colorado of, we had a huge inventory of those, and then we had like not very many. And so if that's your main deal strategy, you got to learn to kind of shift shift before the market shifts, but like be very um, just be very aware of what's going on inside the market.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil. Today, I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Anson Young, who is a real estate investor focusing on fix and flips, wholesale, and the BRRRR method. So excited to have you here today, Anson.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great.
Of course. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching marketing and lead gen and expanding. So lots to dive into.
Yeah, awesome. Let's do it.
First off, for those not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is?
Yeah, so right now my main focus is on BRRRR deals, and those are mainly out of state. So that's kind of my main focus. Try not to get chased away by shiny objects and just kind of keep my head down and focus on that.
Awesome. And which markets do you operate in?
So Colorado is my main market, but those out of state markets are in Nebraska and Ohio.
Cool. And so how did you start up as an investor? Like, what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, really long story short, since this is forever ago, but I was in IT, thought I was going to go down the path of being in IT for my whole career, got laid off. At the same time, or a little bit after that, my wife and I decided to move down to Arizona to be closer to my brother and his family. They just had their first baby. So we were like, hey, I'm unemployed and she can get a, job down there. And so we decided to take that plunge. And at the same time, another friend of mine gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is the most basic origin story of, real estate investors. So I'm sorry, I don't have a more exciting story, but got handed that book and kind of changed my entire mindset on, do I want to go back to do a corporate job, or can I actually make something else work? And so when we landed in Phoenix, it was kind of like new city, new opportunities, new way of thinking. Let's see if we can make real estate work. And so, kind of dove right in and started attending every meetup that I could and bothering every single person that I could who was in real estate to see if I could help them in exchange for, knowledge or running comps or, any of the skill sets that you need as an investor. And after about a year, ended up doing my first deal. So that's kind of a long story short on that.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Awesome. And how did you go from that place to where you are now? Like, what did that look like? Did you get mentorship or education or just lots of trial and error?
Sure. At first it was a lot of mentorship through, you know, providing value to other investors and agents in return for that knowledge. So I had an agent that I'd go put up her signs for her listings, and in return, she taught me how to use MLS. I had another investor who I'd go knock doors for, and in return, he taught me, contracts and sales and all that kind of stuff. And so I was kind of providing that value first before asking for anything. And of course, they were like more than happy to help me out since I was, doing stuff for free for them, which I don't regret at all. I think it's a great way to get in there. But, when I moved back to Denver, which is about a year after my first deal, it did feel like starting over. I got a job with an agent. And so I'd consider that agent, a mentor as well. But for my first, I don't know, 10 years, I probably didn't have any kind of formal coaching, mentor, anything like that. I've joined some masterminds over the years, off and on, built up a network of fellow investors who, they're doing amazing things, and, we'll jump on a call every quarter or so, and, or, monthly or quarterly, whatever, and just kind of trade information. And I've gotten so much, I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of education from just networking and becoming friends with, other agents and investors. And so I highly value those relationships. And I think that that's, one huge thing that's kind of propelled my, career forward.
Absolutely. Networking and relationships are everything in this space.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned when we chatted earlier that lead generation is a strength of yours. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like a lot of people, I got my license and I've started investing before kind of the great crash of 2008 or so. And, deal acquisition was just much different back then. And when things changed all the way through about 2015, MLS was where we got all of our deals. And when things really changed and we decided we needed to really go off market, that's where I feel like, I started that journey of, direct to seller marketing, taking inbound leads, nurturing those leads, building rapport, helping people out. That's kind of been our entire like method since about 2015. And so, it started out of necessity, and I was kind of skeptical at first, like, oh, I can, send out mail and expect, X amount of deals. That doesn't sound like it's legit. And so until I consistently kept doing it, and now have been doing it, for 10 years or so. But that is where our strength lies, is basically going out, reaching out and getting deals before they come to market, and consistently bringing those in for, our acquisitions, and, we'll wholesale deals that we don't want to keep, and get to help people out and get to keep the business going. So it's a win-win, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. And when you're like finding these deals, what does kind of your process look like in determining which ones are the best opportunities for you?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it all starts off with that, for us, it all starts off with an inbound call from our marketing and just kind of like really feeling out what what that homeowner needs or that investor needs out of uh, their property or their situation. How can we best craft a win-win scenario to help them out of what they need and obviously get what we need since, we're a business as well. So the best deals come from really listening to what the homeowner wants, so the owner wants, and crafting a deal that makes it so that everybody wins in that transaction. And then having multiple tools in your toolbox to be able to deal with different scenarios, different types of sellers. A seller might call in with 10 properties. They're just a tired landlord and just wants to get rid of all of them. Or they might call in and they might want retail for their house. We have a disposition strategy for each one of those and able to help both of those people. And so, it basically, to answer your question, it's like through that process of feeling them out, seeing what they need, obviously getting some numbers together. Then we can really analyze, how we can craft a deal that makes the most sense for everybody. Obviously, they're going to have to, let us know what kind of price they're looking at, or if they want us to shoot off a price first, we'll have to go look at it and see, what we can actually pay for it. And sometimes it's not price. Sometimes the most important thing is like the amount of stuff that's left in the house, or can we close and then have like 3 months before we move out because we need the money now in order to move. It's just crafting those things. And so sometimes it's not about price, and you just have to really just be a normal person, talk to people normally, and really like care about, what their situation is, and, having a way to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like it's people first for you.
Absolutely. It has to be. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. So, what are you most focused now on solving or scaling to the next thing in your business?
yeah. So, solving, usually it comes down to people is what we're trying to solve, whether it's, our boots on the ground in the field, agents that we're working with, contractors is a big one. It's always a big gripe with investors is dealing with contractors. Um, it is definitely a people business, and keeping those relationships and keeping everyone happy, keeping people trained. Um, and then just knowing that you're also just going to have to let go. Like there are just people who are with you for a phase in their life, an acquisitions person who wants to go try their sales skills, in the car industry, or they want to go out on their own in the real estate industry, or they want to get their license and become an agent. Like you just have to know inside your business that there are going to be these things, and you're just going to have to deal with them because everybody has their own life going on, and it can't all revolve around me. Everybody else has their own family and their bills and their situations. And so, dealing and navigating people and those relationships is usually what stops people from scaling massively, quickly. So, that's kind of what we're dealing with as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned that you're kind of gearing out of wholesaling and focusing more on like the flips and the burr. Is that correct?
Kind of. I like to think of our business as a lead generation business that just happens to deal in real estate. So if we have multiple ways to kind of uh, dispose of properties or um, deal with each lead. So mainly, I would say that we don't do that many flips, but I mean, a burr is just a flip that you keep, um, as my friend Tarl would say. But, so wholesaling and I think burr is what we're mainly focused on. And wholesaling is just a necessity of having a lead generation business. It's like if we have 10 really good leads come down and we could buy all 10, but we don't want all 10, you know, we could buy the best two and wholesale the rest. And then the wholesale covers marketing costs, payroll costs, and all of that stuff.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Right. Awesome. So, what is some advice you would give to someone that's maybe just starting out or looking to get into investing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm an agent too, and I deal with, investors on that side as well. And honestly, it depends on a lot of things. Every agent's, of course, going to be in a different place with their budget, their time, everything else. But I mean, I always say, like, look, if you can house hack first, like, do it. Do that, and that'll help you springboard to the next thing so much quicker. I have clients who are on their like fourth, fifth, sixth house hack, and they're light years ahead of their, people that in their same age. They might be 35, own like 5 properties, and it's all just because every, 1 or 2 years they're house hacking into the next, into the next property. If you're, older like me, like my wife and teenager and dogs, we're not going to go house hack probably. Somebody starting off who's a little bit older, really look at what matches your budget, what matches your style. Is it, being a landlord? Is it, flipping houses? You really like the transformation process. Is it building, properties? Is it ground up construction? Like, I know guys who have done 0 deals, and their first deal was a ground up construction project. And yeah, they learned, they learned a lot, but they also made a lot of money when it went to go sell because they did everything right. So, get yourself educated, really analyze honestly your strengths, your weaknesses, your budget, your time, all of that stuff, your risk tolerance, and then you can make a more informed decision. But, for the younger, folks out there, I always recommend house hacking, but if you're past that phase, then, really analyze what's next for you. Cause there's, 30 ways to make money in this business. You just got to find the right one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. What are some obstacles that you've had to face and maybe pivot out of that now, looking back in hindsight, you can see how you overcame it in the lesson?
Yeah, sure. Um, obstacles will always come down, of course. One of my biggest obstacles was when, probably around 2011, when our main deal finding strategy was, bank owned foreclosures that were listed on the MLS. When there was a pretty sharp drop off in Colorado of, we had a huge inventory of those, and then we had like not very many. And so if that's your main deal strategy, you got to learn to kind of shift shift before the market shifts, but like be very just be very aware of what's going on inside the market. And it's funny because right around there, Gary Keller came out with a book called Shift, and it like really like kind of blew my mind, and it set me up for that next phase to where, oh, this isn't going to last forever. I was still young enough in real estate, like 4 or 5 years in, to where I go, oh wait, this golden goose is going to stop laying its eggs. And if that's my only strategy, I'm going to be stuck and I'm going to be like scrambling. And so, we shifted into short sales. And when I noticed that short sale listings were dropping pretty significantly, and at the same time, obviously, people were getting more equity, so they were kind of getting out of the need for a short sale. I was able to shift kind of before the market shifted into off-market properties. And so that obstacle could have been, smacking face first into the wall. But if you can see it a little bit ahead of time and kind of work your way around it, that's obviously going to be, way better for you. But when that first REO dropped, I had to like have a little life crisis because I was like, this is all we do. Like, what are we gonna do? And thankfully, um, you know, hit that wall, learned so that when the next shift came, I could, juke around it and do my best there. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to see the long-term vision when those inevitable things happen.
yeah, absolutely.
So, what are you most looking forward to in this year when it comes to your business and any opportunities that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So, I mean, this year should look somewhat similar to last year. It should be, retail markets getting soft but the investment side is still chugging along. We're still solving problems. We're still, helping out homeowners. And I think there's going to be probably a little bit more of that as the economy is just kind of in flux. Who knows what's going to go on? But I'm really looking forward to, just having some more systems of stability inside of maybe the back end of our business, of just making sure that things are shored up so that if there is any kind of major pivot or change, that we're kind of ready for it. Because right now it just feels like, things are just chugging along just fine. And I don't ever want to get complacent. So now's a good time to really analyze, systems, KPIs, and really figure out if there's any holes that we can patch up now while things are chugging along and we don't have like a gap in our personnel. If you're like trying to train new people and look at all of your gaps, that's when you burn out because you're just too stretched in multiple directions. But so I'm looking forward to, more of the same, um, and taking that time to really make sure that everything on our back end is really strong so that we can, if we have to pivot, we could do it faster than we could before, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned we. What does that look like? Are there other people on your team that you're being supported by?
Yeah, of course. Myself and my wife does, all of our bookkeeping and design and that kind of stuff. She has her own bookkeeping business, so she's busy most of the time with that. But she's able to do a lot of our back end and make sure the numbers are good and all that good stuff. And then two acquisitions folks, because we do, lead generation business. It's all pretty much phone calls coming in the door, texts and stuff like that. So they'll take those in and deal with those. And then we have a part-time project manager who kind of handles the, from closing until we're ready to hand it off to property management. They handle everything in between there. So construction, uh, making sure that the properties are secure and, making sure that there's checks on them weekly and all that good stuff until, it's boom in the property manager's hands. And so it's pretty lean, but, um, I, I get really nervous and sweaty when it's like, like people who are like, oh yeah, we have like 20 people on our team. And I go, man, I don't know how you sleep at night because the stress of just having like 2.5 people is pretty rough. So, I'm not built for that. I guess I'm built for this.
Yeah, amazing. Well, you know what supports you. That's what's important.
That's right.
So before we wrap up here, somebody wants to reach out, connect, learn more. Where can people find you and connect with you?
Of course. Probably my kind of like the three main channels would be Instagram at Young Anson. I have, a long-standing Bigger Pockets account. So if you want to reach out to me on Bigger Pockets, that's fine too. Or propertysquadhq.com is kind of where like a lot of my stuff just lives. And so if you want to reach out to me, feel free to. If you have any questions or need anything, I'm a pretty open book. So, reach out, let's connect.
Perfect. I appreciate your time and your story. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great. Thank you.
Of course. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure that you have subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Anson who are building real businesses, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.